So I'm into my last few months of living where I'm currently living, and it's dawned on me that I've never actually given you wonderful people a tour of my working space. It's a rather unglamorous 8-foot by 8-foot garden shed that houses everything I need to write music at my current level of scoring. It's cozy and I spend absolutely all of my time in here. So before I leave this space and move on to bigger and better things, I'd like to show you around what has been my little creative home over the past couple of years. Starting with the outside. As you can see, it literally is just a garden shed. I think you need the space that you have to be creative, to be pretty unassuming from the outside. That way it's only yours. You know what's inside and you spend your time in there. So let's head inside and check out my setup. I think it's right to start with the center of the nervous system, the brain, or in this case, the 2017 iMac running a 4.2 GHz quad-core Intel Core i7 processor with 64 GB of DDR4 memory, so not a complete beast, but that's enough for me. I'm going to put the specs up on the screen so you're able to get a good look. I bought this in June and it's been pretty good to me so far. In terms of monitors, the Mac itself is 27 inches. I also have a 27-inch ultra-wide monitor to my right, and in the center I have a 42-inch TV which I got secondhand for 80 quid. I don't know what effect all of this is going to have on my eyes long term, but I guess we'll see. Configuration wise, I usually have the main Logic session window up on the center TV. The ultra wide I use for piano roll MIDI editing, and then I have the mixer window up on my iMac on the monitor on the left. I have this very sturdy wooden desk which I DIY'd some runners onto the underneath of so that I could push in and pull out my 61 key Impact MIDI keyboard. I love having the option to just push it back in when I'm editing more precisely or mixing the music. And then on the desk I have my Nano Control 2 MIDI controller along with the very simple Focusrite 2i2 or 212, I'm not sure how you say it. That's my main audio interface, nothing fancy at all but very reliable. I have a pair of Biodynamic DT990 Pros that I use when I'm mixing to refine the mix, or when I'm working into the evening and I don't want to disturb the neighbors. However, most of the time I'm using these Yamaha HS5s for monitoring. This room is treated by basically just putting tons of rock wool around the room, and I tell you what, it does sound pretty good in here. I plan to treat my next studio room more conventionally with bass traps and an acoustic cloud, but this has seemed to work for me so far. Also on my desk is the Lumix GH4 that I use for recording videos, and a little light on top of that. Now moving away from the desk, over here we have my synth rack, or shelf rather, because it's only got one synth on it. This is my Arturia Micro Brute. It's a monophonic analog synthesizer, and it seems that limitation breeds creativity, because I have had so much fun working this piece of kit into my music over the past year or so since I bought it. And now I've hooked it up to some guitar pedals down here, so I'm able to get away from the desk and come over here and get creative, stand up, put my headphones on, create some new sounds, and just get away from the box. And it's been incredibly valuable for my creativity and for my music overall. Over here as well, I have my lovely Fender American Elite Telecaster, as well as this beautiful 1968 Fender Princeton Silverface amp. It's got an absolutely gorgeous warm sound, and it's what I use when recording live guitar. Then sitting on top of that, we have this cheap but decent violin, which I'm using to learn violin on. I will not be playing that on the video though, in an effort to avoid embarrassing myself. Finally, on the other side of the room is this lovely little area where I can make myself an espresso and then put on a record from my little collection here. Let me talk a little bit about my reasoning for creating this video. Recently, I had a friend of mine, a producer, I was working on his film. I had him come into the shed studio, and we worked on his film from there. And he was just taken aback by how gorgeous it was in there. He said that kind of organic construction of a studio is exactly what a studio should be. He said he'd been to plenty of large recording studios and they just felt like offices. And really, you do need that personal touch that comes with a studio in a garden shed. That comment really just made me love that space even more. And even though I've wanted more of my own space in my studio, I think it's really just made me realize it's about, you know, what you do with what you have rather than having lots of different things, different synths, too much space to work with. So yeah, I do really love that space and I will miss it when I move on in the next few months. Anyway, thanks so much to you for watching this video. Remember to like, subscribe and ding the bell to be notified when we release more like this on the YouTube channel. Head over to our website where you can access our library of unscored videos for as little as £1 a month. The higher tiers can get you walkthrough demos of a clip that I've recorded on each of those unscored clips. And then the highest tier, that's £10 a month, can get you access to my Logic files, my audio stems, an AAF file and a MIDI file of each of those demo scores that I do for the unscored clips that we're releasing. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, because we're going to try and get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and then if we do that, we're thinking of doing a really cool giveaway or something. So absolutely tell your friends if they don't know about the QTube already. I know I've met plenty of musicians who write music for film who haven't heard of the QTube, and when I've turned them onto it, they've absolutely loved what we have available to them. So tell your composer friends, your musician friends, your producer friends, your sound designer friends, your filmmaker friends. There's plenty of room for everyone here at the QTube. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.